Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please. Supervisor Gens. Supervisor Cardinelli, Supervisor Franco. Yeah. Supervisor Cardinelli. Thank you. All right. Supervisor Decker is excused. Moving on to citizen comments. Good evening. You have 5 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Oh, excuse me, 1 minute, sir. Sorry. Go ahead.
Good evening, Michael Bell, 3317 13th Place, Kenosha. I have an interesting article here by a woman named Heather Morse. She's a director of marketing for a large marketing firm. And the title of the article, the essay, is called Joe Paterno, Our Fiduciary Duties and Our Moral Responsibilities. And she goes on to say in here, and we're all familiar with the Joe Paterno scandal out at Penn State with Jerry Sandusky. She says, my opinions are coming into focus on where our fiduciary duties as leaders in our businesses and as department heads and as board members conflict with our moral responsibilities. When I think of the Penn State scandal, I see Joe Paterno's dedication to the football program as being so profound that he allowed those duties to the football program to supersede his moral and legal responsibilities to protect the children involved, and there was no defense. She goes on to write, as leaders, we're all confronted with moments when our fiduciary, ethical, moral, and legal responsibilities collide. And I know that's probably the case in this room. She says, as a board member and a member of a board of directors, it is always my responsibility to raise my hand and ask questions when I'm not comfortable. I cannot blindly vote on a recommendation. She says, I'm not perfect, and I do not think myself above another, but I have resigned from positions when I was unable to resolve my moral and fiduciary responsibilities. And that sometimes the wrong is so great that we cannot allow our ego and our pride to stand in the way of right action. And I want to go on and say that I had a son that was shot and killed by a police officer here on November 9th of 2004. And it happened at 2 a.m. and Chief Wade completed his review and declared that the shooting was justified just 2 days later, 56 hours total time. And I find it interesting that everyone knows that government moves at a snail's pace. It takes a month just to pick a name for a committee. And why nobody raised their hand and say, this investigation is complete in 56 hours, there's a problem. And so it's important to raise that question when you're not comfortable, and I want to bring up some interesting things here because I feel that Mayor Antaramian had a moral responsibility to raise his hand and say something's wrong here. Because with all the power of the city and its intellectual and financial and legal resources behind him, he failed a moral and ethical test to do the right thing. He chose to allow that cover-up to proceed. As Mrs. Moore says in her essay, she has resigned from those positions when she was unable to resolve her moral and fiduciary responsibilities. And as the gatekeeper of proper conduct for the city, Mayor Antaramian chose to protect a fraudulent investigation into a highly suspicious police homicide. I have to ask this question to this group. Did Mayor Antaramian fail to ensure a proper gathering of facts in a police homicide? Did the mayor's office fail to provide public documents as per state open records laws? I've made multiple requests. Did Mayor Antaramian fail his moral and ethical obligation to ensure proper investigation? And I pose this question to this group. Should Mayor Antaramian step down regarding a fraudulent police investigation to the fatal shooting of my son, Michael Bell? Just like the Penn State controversy, where Paterno was not alone, as Graham Spanier, the school's president, failed his moral obligation, Mayor Antaramian's moral failure is not alone. Alderman Lamacchia and my district's representative, Alderman Kali Kangas, refused to speak with me. They were the elected by the citizens of the city, but they were set aside their moral responsibility to protect their institution and wouldn't meet with me in the face of overwhelming evidence. Many informants at Penn State were ignored also. As leaders, we are all confronted with moments when our fiduciary, ethical, moral, and legal responsibilities collide, and I think that 56-hour investigation is the one clue that gives insight into Mayor Antaramian, that he will compromise his moral integrity for institutional and self-preservation. This week, coming up, I will release a documentary titled, "Who Ordered the Police Cover-Up?" The title, along with the question, should Mayor Antaramian step down over a fraudulent police investigation, will be placed on billboards all around the city. The short documentary will be shown on Facebook, YouTube, and through Google. I plan on taking out some full-page ads that will commence this week with direct access to the video. Those ads will be placed in the Kenosha News, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, the USA Today Network, and the Wisconsin State Journal websites. And if necessary, I will mail the DVD with the title, "Who Ordered the Police Cover-Up?" to each household in Kenosha. I have authorized my attorneys to sue the city for public records if I do not receive them. And with that, I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Citizen comments? Citizens' comments. Any more citizens' comments? Seeing none, citizens' comments are closed. Announcements of the chair. Yes, I would like to publicly thank Supervisor Holman for his years of service to his district and this community. I believe myself, as this body, wishes him the best in his future endeavors, and moving forward, we wish him the process that he would like to see, and we just give him a big thank you for his time and effort that he put on the county board. And that's all I have. Moving on to supervisor reports. Supervisor Gens, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to report that we finalized our budget at Joint Services, and are you sitting for this? We came in at a negative on the tax levy, so negative 0.27 or something. It's phenomenal.
Great job.
So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Alderman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The facilities, parks, and highways and golf naturally this time of year are very busy. I'm going to try to quickly highlight some things going on. The large project that we've been working on, the project for 2020 on Highway S, is having a public hearing September 20th at the county center, and that schedule is still for 2020. Highway W, we have a major embankment process going on the Fox River, where it was eating away at the highway, getting dangerously close. That should be completed in mid-November, but I've been down there quite a bit, and they're making big, fast progress, so I think it's going to be much quicker than that. Even with the 6.9 extra inches of rain on an average year this year, we so far have paved 9.7 miles of road. By the end of October, we're hoping to pave another 4.5 to complete that. And Parks has been horribly busy. If you follow the Kenosha News, the Vail Corporation, who are the current and new owners in the last 2 years of Wilmot Mountain, do a nationwide thing at all of their resorts, all of their properties, do a day of volunteering. They call it the Epic Promise Day. We've been included, naturally, the last 2 years that they've been here. That Fox River Park last year. This year was Silver Lake Beach Park on Saturday. They had 100 volunteers there, and they completed projects that would have taken our people, besides the lack of people that we have to do them, would have taken them months. And they were done by right around noon. I was out there at 6:30. They came and signed in at 7. And 100 volunteers doing everything from painting playground equipment to putting gravel around signposts. Also, Oktoberfest at Old Settlers was a huge success, if you followed that in the news 2 weeks ago. On the 21st, we have an Oktoberfest at Pets at the Beer Garden, and the 29th an Oktoberfest at Kemper. The Pringle Fall Fest was also last weekend. So I met Mr. Collins 3 different times that day, him going back and forth, and I told him, it's your fault, Matt. He's increased our events and our footprint around the county and doing a fantastic job. On facilities, public safety building and pretrial roof replacements are basically complete, and the project was completed approximately $200,000 under budget. That was the sheet metal and the roofing. Anderson Arts Center, bids were released on schedule on August 30th. Bids are due back September 20th. We're looking at construction in early 2019. And the Branch 1 courtroom, we're targeting construction in November. The courthouse chiller replacement, revised start date is 11/5 due to a 6 to 8 week delivery of the chiller, and that's the air conditioning system that we've discussed. The numerous other projects, there's a letter going out on one to finance. I believe they probably got it this month. The automatic transfer switches for 2 generators at KCDC. They're obsolete and replacement parts are no longer available. $53,000 was approved in the 2018 budget. We received 1 bid for $70,000 from Premier Power, and Jim Cuffer has a letter asking to shift funds in order to go forward with the project, because there are funds in appropriate groups within the department. That's all I have this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Supervisor Newell, you have the floor.
Thank you. Representative Kirkman was our guest speaker tonight at the committee, legislative committee. She touched bases on many topics, most important than tax policies, which may affect all of us. Also, she talked about the budget, and I put on every supervisor's desk a brief report of what she gave us, and so everybody can take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Ron Frederick, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was reminded by a reporter who has been covering county board meetings for the last 40 years that this is her last meeting, Janet Hoff. She's worked for the Kenosha News, I think WLIP, and the race. I think she's with Racine Radio, and I would just like to wish Janet a happy retirement.
Thank you for all your work, Janet. Moving on, County Clerk.
County Executive Appointments, 24, Michael Pitts to serve on the County Housing Authority Board.
Refer to Finance Administration.
25, Patrice Hall to serve on the Kenosha County Traffic Safety Commission.
Refer to Public Works.
Ordinance 13, first reading to required from the Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee, an ordinance amending the text of the Kenosha County General Zoning and Shoreland Floodplain Zoning Ordinance, reducing the membership of the Board of Adjustments. Resolution 40 from the Human Services Committee, a resolution to approve the reappointment of Bill Erickson to the Kenosha County Board of Administration Appeals. Grady, yes. Hallman, excused. Berg, yes. Nudo, yes. Gable, excused. Celebrity, yes. Rodriguez, yes.
Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If it pleases the chair and the members here assembled, if we could handle 40, 41, and 43 together, as they are all reappoints.
Seeing that there doesn't seem to be a problem, why don't we read them all? 40, 41, 42, and 43, and we'll take them all together.
Resolution 41 from the Human Services Committee, a resolution approving the reappointment of Gail Gens to the Kenosha County Board of Administrative Appeals. Grady, yes. Hallman, excused. Berg, yes. Nudo, yes. Gable, excused. Celebrity, yes. Rodriguez, yes. 42, from the Human Service Committee, a resolution to approve the appointment of Boyd Frederick to the Kenosha County Commission on Aging and Disability Services. Grady, yes. Hallman, excused. Berg, yes. Nudo, yes. Gable, excused. Celebrity, yes. Rodriguez, yes. 43?
Yep.
43. From the Human Service Committee, a resolution to approve the reappointment of Julie Hauseman to the Kenosha County Workforce Development Board. Grady, yes. Hallman, excused. Berg, yes. Nudo, yes. Gable, excused. Celebrity, yes. Rodriguez, yes, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Grady and a second by Supervisor Berg. Supervisor Grady?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. We've had these appointments reviewed. They've done a good job in the past, and we recommend your approval this evening.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor to move all four resolutions, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? They're all passed.
Resolution 44 from the Judiciary and Law and Finance and Administration Committees, the Resolution 2018-19 WEM Mobile Field Forces Training Grant. Boyd Frederick, excused. Wambolt, excused. Celebrity, yes. Uhas, yes. Rodriguez, yes. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Gable, yes. Kubicki, yes. O'Day, yes. Wambolt, yes.
Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. On behalf of the two committees, I would move the resolution.
I have a motion by Supervisor Rose and a second by Supervisor Celebrity. Supervisor Rose.
The resolution before you is an amendment to the budget, thus requiring two-thirds vote of the county board. It is a grant from the state of Wisconsin for some $10,000. There is a 20% match involved here. It is for the purpose of purchase of crowd control equipment for the group known as the Crowd Control Team of the Kenosha County Sheriff's Department, and the resolution is prepared under the direction of Lieutenant Staples, the Director of Emergency Management Government. It's for a certain kind of helmets, riot suits with stab plates, and this is to, in the event of a crowd control situation, these are the type of suits to be worn, and the money is for the state for that purpose.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Rodriguez, you have the floor.
We are on number 44, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think, I could be wrong, but I think Supervisor Rose is referring to number 45. Because number 44 doesn't require any additional funds on the county's part.
44 is a training grant. 45 was an equipment grant. Is that, let me check with the county clerk, is that correct?
That's correct, yes, we're doing
All
the
right.
training grant.
Supervisor Rose, thank you, Supervisor Rodriguez. Why don't we just back up and let's go through Resolution 43, please?
All right, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
44.
44, I'm sorry, 44.
44 is also a very small grant of some $1,760, again, from the state of Wisconsin. It is one which is similar to the one that I just explained, dealing with crowd control. The one deals with equipment. This deals with training for officers connected with that unit, some $1,760 for that purpose, and so we ask for your approval. Again, this is a budget modification requiring some two-thirds vote.
Okay, so I'm going to clear the board here. And if there's any discussion on Resolution 44, let me know. If not, there'll be a roll call vote. I don't see any discussion, so if you're in favor, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no. Resolution passes.
Resolution 45 from the Judiciary and Law and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution 2018-19 WEM Mobile Field Forces Equipment Grant. From Judiciary, Boyd Frederick, excused. Wambolt, excused. Celebrity, yes. Uhas, yes. Rodriguez, yes. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Gable, yes. Kubicki, yes. O'Day, yes. Wambolt, yes.
Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, and we would move the resolution.
I have a motion by Supervisor Rose, a second by Supervisor Celebrity. Supervisor Rose.
All right, this is, again, the equipment that the team deals with for crowd control. First was training. This is the equipment for the helmets, riot suits with stab plates.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no discussion, this is a two-thirds vote. There'll be a roll call. Yes if you're in favor, no if you're not. Resolution passes unanimously.
Resolution 46 from the Judiciary and Law and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution FY18 Equipment Grant Award, HLS WEM HS Alert EOD Bomb Suit. Legislative, Boyd Frederick excused, Wambolt excused, Celebrity yes, Uhas yes, Rodriguez yes. Finance, Rose yes, Ron Frederick yes, Gens yes, Gable yes, Kubicki yes, O'Day yes, Wambolt yes.
Supervisor Rose.
I would move the resolution on behalf of the committees.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Rose and a second by Supervisor Rodriguez. Supervisor Rose.
This is, again, a Homeland Security State of Wisconsin grant for some $33,000 for the bomb suit. And this is, we of course have a bomb suit now, but this is an updated version, all paid for by the state.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no discussion, obviously this is a budget modification. We'll have a roll call vote. Yes if you're in favor, no if you're not. Resolution passes unanimously. Thank you, Supervisor Nordigan.
Resolution 47 from the Judiciary and Law and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution FY18 Law Enforcement Justice Assistant Grant, JAG Award. Legislative, Judiciary and Law, Boyd Frederick excused, Wambolt excused, Celebrity yes, Uhas yes, Rodriguez yes. Finance, Rose yes, Ron Frederick yes, Gens yes, Gable yes, Kubicki yes, O'Day yes, Wambolt yes.
Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. I would move the resolution.
A motion by Supervisor Rose and the second by Supervisor Uhas. Supervisor Rose.
This is some $12,710. It's from the Federal Law Enforcement Justice Assistance Grant through the United States Department of Justice. This is an annual grant. This particular one is for $12,710. And it's the intent of the Sheriff's Department to use it to build their inventory of taser devices by purchasing 12 what are called conductive energy devices to build the inventory. Again, it's a budget modification, but no local funds involved.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no discussion on this, as Supervisor Rose stated, is a budget modification. We will have a roll call vote. Yes if you're in favor, no if you are not. Resolution passes unanimously.
Resolution 48 from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution to accept donation of a parcel in the Fox River floodplain. Planning, Decker, yes. Galitsky, yes. Nordigan, yes. Poole, yes. Rodriguez, yes. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Gable, yes. O'Day, yes. Kubicki, yes. Wambolt, yes.
Supervisor Skalitzky, you have the floor.
I move motion 48.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Skalitzky and a second by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Skalitzky.
I'll try to summarize it best I can. As you know, over many years here, Kenosha County has participated in a program to try to gain ownership of floodplain properties within the floodplain of the Fox River. This particular one was donated. The county will be responsible for the closing costs, which are associated to be about $1,100. This motion was, this resolution was supported unanimously by all or both committees, and I would encourage the board's support.
Thank you, Supervisor Skalitzky. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Resolution 49 from Chairman Esposito, Supervisor Kubicki, Supervisor Berg, and Supervisor Uhas, a resolution recognizing September 2018 as Shalom Center Month.
Thank you. Due to the time-sensitive nature of this resolution, I ask for a motion to suspend the rules so we can take up this issue immediately. I have a first by Supervisor Rodriguez, a second by Supervisor Celebrity. Supervisor Uhas, you have the floor.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry, we'll need a two-thirds vote for that. So yes if you're in favor, and no if you're not, to suspend the rules. Thank you. Supervisor Rose? That's okay. It's unanimously to suspend the rules. With that, we will move on, and Supervisor Uhas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight before us, we have this resolution acknowledging the Shalom Center for their one-year anniversary.
Supervisor Uhas, why don't you move the resolution?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Move to approve Resolution 49.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Uhas and a second by Supervisor Kubicki. Supervisor Uhas, you're ready, you're up.
Thank you. I'm eager. This is my first one.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we're here to honor the Shalom Center for their one-year anniversary. They opened up their new building on 39th Avenue 1 year ago. It's an 82-bed facility, and it served over 19,000 meals. I'd also like to read the mission statement because I think it's important to understand, and I know most of us do, but the Shalom Center is to serve the community by providing emergency food, shelter, and support in ways that meet immediate needs and respect for human dignity. Some of you may not know this, but the history of the Shalom Center started back in 1982 as an outgrowth of discussions of human concerns by people involved in the crop walk. The soup kitchen was the first project of the Interfaith Network. A daily meal program was started, and the soup kitchen has been in existence ever since. In 1985, they moved to the new, the Deming School, and they continued to serve out of there. And in 1986, they opened up a second floor in the center, which was turned into an emergency family shelter. That same year, they also saw the inclusion of the children's classroom in the nursing center. In 1991, services expanded, and the Interfaith Network nightly shelter programs INS began. So you can see that there's been a history of need in the community, and I'm so proud that we're sponsoring this tonight and giving them the acknowledgement that they deserve.
Thank you, Supervisor Uhas. Discussion, Supervisor Berg, you have the floor.
Supervisor Uhas pretty much summed it all up. They're in my district. I was open arms when they came to our district, or to my district. Alderman Kennedy and I both were open arms. We're very happy that they're here. We look forward to many, many, many more years. There were some dissenters originally, and those dissenters have been pretty much, those mouths have been, any issues were not, never came forth. So having the Shalom Center in the area has been an asset, if anything. So I don't think I have to ask anybody for sway their vote, but thanks for your support.
Thank you, Supervisor Berg. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Communications from Andy Ambula regarding future items scheduled before the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee.
Receive and file.
Claims, Laura Bowers, vehicle damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Sherry Bauer, property damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Approval of the August 21st, 2018 minutes by Supervisor Nordigan.
Supervisor Nordigan, you have the floor.
Okay. This is the first time I've had to do this. I'm going to make a motion to accept.
I have a motion by Supervisor Nordigan and a second by Supervisor Rodriguez. All those in favor say aye. Aye. I have a motion to adjourn. I have a first by Supervisor Nudo, a second by Supervisor Gens. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, we're adjourned.
First time, I didn't know I was going